I always said that I want to create a safe space for my partner to talk about anything, like whether it's sex, whether it's communication, whether it's anything that you want to talk about. Like I want to be able to talk about it because we could figure it out from there, even if it's something that I don't like. That's a big part. Like I want you to tell me whatever, even if you say, "Hey, I want to have a threesome."
Let's talk about it.
We can talk about it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean I have to agree to it. But I want you to be able to come and talk to me about it. You know what I'm saying? Like being able to be vulnerable is like super important. Like you talked about that earlier. I talked about also I said this to I say this often to a lot of the queer clients that I work with. I'm like, if you're dating someone, if you're in a romantic relationship with someone, even if they're your friends, you don't want to always be combative with them. You know what I mean? We have so much other shit to like fight about. We're Black men in America, hands down. Black men, queer people, trans people.
We're minorities.
We're minorities. We're Black, and we always have to fight the world. Why in the hell would I want a relationship, whether it's friendship or romantic, where I got to fight with you too? That's crazy. I want to be able to come
because of who he is, because of how he looks, because of his stature, because he wants. Because hold up, here's a big one. This is one that people have a hard time. Clients have a hard time really accepting. I want him because he chose me.
Ooh, nasty word.
I want him because he chose me.
But why is being chosen?
Oh, we got to do that self-confidence work, boo.
Yeah, why is
we got to do the self-confidence work. We do so much self-confidence work when it comes to my clients.
Like, and that's why I always say, why is it important to be chosen? Because I work with them on that too. Like, why does that add value to you?
Because they didn't think they were going to be chosen. You think about us? Come on. You didn't think you were going to be chosen. I go through this all the time. We have delayed puberty. While our counterparts, heterosexual males, are 12, 13, 14 years old. They're experimenting. They're hugging. They're kissing on the cheek. They're possibly doing more. What are we doing? Having to hold ourselves and hope that we could eventually maybe find somebody. Because in our time, what did we even see on TV? What did we see in terms of success? We didn't know it. If anything, we were hypersexualized in the small spaces that we could go find in the dark corners, right? In magazines and everything else. So we didn't believe we could be chosen. Yeah. So you get to a certain age and it's like, okay, here are these fine-ass men. And that one chose me? Wow. Because I was a small child or a teenager and I was wrestling with this and I never thought I'd be chosen. So I'm going to take your bullshit because you chose me when I didn't think I would be chosen.
Again, I hate... And I hate sobriety is such a big part of my life. Mm-hmm. Like sobriety being sober showed me, like my sobriety journey showed me how to choose me. You know what I mean? Like how to like love me. You know what I'm saying? Before I had to look for other people to like love on me. Because I was one of those people. It was like, oh, you chose me. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, like that means I did something right because somebody is choosing to spend the rest of their life or their time with me. And like, don't get me wrong, there is still a beauty in that. But you also have to remember that you are also the prize. Like it's not that you're being chosen and I have to deal with this. It's like, why you're being chosen. Like you add value. There's a value to you, baby. That's why this person chose you, and you have to see that value before you see, before you desire being chosen. That's what, and also that changed how I date. Like the person I'm dating now, and I'm not trying not to talk too much about them, but like completely different experience. Like completely different experience because I can see my choice. You know what I mean? Like I could see the choice that I made, the good choice. Because like the first thing I always tell you, the people that I want, the person I wanted to end up in a relationship with, because we talked about it before, the first thing was kind. I needed you to be kind and why that was important. And like, he's very kind. He's a very kind person. And like, being able to like actually say, oh, this is the first thing that I want and what I look for in a partner. And that's what I got instead of like, oh, well, he's kind, but it's not the first thing. It's like the fourth. And, he's a dickhead because he looks good and his body's good and he makes a lot of money. Those are the first three, but he is kind later. And I was like, oh, nah, homie. Like when you realize that you need to be able to be vulnerable with your partner at all times. Mm-hmm. Like it changes how you date. It changes how you experience romance.
Something that we have talked about on this platform before is you have to do the work and figure out what you want when you're the only person in the room. Visually, this is what I tell clients, right? So I want you to imagine that you're in a room by yourself, right? And we're men, we eat with our eyes. I get that. But you're in a room and your decision, it's up for you to decide, at the point I'm in right now in my life, I want friends. Do I want friends with benefits? Do I want to hook up? Do I want dating? Do I want monogamy / poly? Figure that out for yourself, because if you don't, and we do a lot of work, and Choose all, choose none. That's completely okay, but be honest with yourself. But then, because if you can do that when there's nobody else in the room, you won't get distracted. Because what happens is a person enters the room, and because we eat with our eyes, it's, oh, I know I only really want to date out of this list in these categories. So, but this guy walks in and he chose me and he just wants a hookup, so I'm going to give him that. I'm settling at that point because I already made up in my mind before he walked in the room that this is not what I wanted for myself.
I also think that people, I agree, I want to throw a wrench in that. I don't think people know how to tell what they want. I think people often say, I want a relationship, but don't really be ready to be in a relationship. I think people want to be loved. I think people want to be chosen versus people wanting to be in relationships and people wanting romance. Because like when you say, I want to be in a relationship, you are committed. There's work.
But it's also working even the dating process, right? You can't just, what is the best thing that wants me that's walking through the door versus I know what I want, I know what I'm worth, and I'm not settling.
You know, it's interesting. I use this, oh my God, in a few of my sessions this week that we talk about often. Like, you know, the list that we tell people, our clients, to create. Because yes, we eat with our eyes.
The non-negotiable list. Non-negotiable list.
So what the non-negotiable list is, what we often tell our clients to do is you create a non-negotiable list on like your phone or something of that nature. That's something that you carry all the time. And the non-negotiable list is of things or characteristics of a person that you want to date or be in a relationship with would like have. And it allows you to align, like, and think about that as time goes. If you meet this person, if you are dating this person, all this other stuff, and you have to stick to that list though. Like he may look good, he may be fine, but baby, if he's rude to the servers and and kindness is number one for you, it don't matter how fine he is, you have to put him to the side because he doesn't fit what you want.
So I'm going to take it a step further. This is what I do with clients. My clients who may possibly be tuning in, they're going to be extremely familiar with this because it's something we always get to, especially if dating, intentional dating is something that you want to do. This is an exercise to help you process past relationships. Why? Because everybody thinks as long as I've waited 6 months, a year, 3 years, then I'm going to be good. No, it's not just about time because those issues and those triggers are going to be right. They're underneath the surface, just waiting for the right cut to come right back out again. Mm-hmm. So what you're going to do is I want you to make a non-negotiable list, but I want you to make it based off your past relationships because you've been collecting data for quite some time and you've not been willing to pay attention. So this is your opportunity to do so. Here's the example that I always give. A heterosexual relationship, a man and a woman. The man works in an office or does something. Well, he does something and he calls his girl in the morning. He calls his girl, texts her in the morning, does so like around lunch, and then he leaves himself open to talk and communicate with her in the evenings. She works from home, and she's somebody who likes to talk, text, FaceTime throughout the day. They eventually break up. They make a non-negotiable list. He's non-negotiable based off of that relationship alone and you write it however you feel, but it's capturing what you know that you no longer want to deal with, not what the ideal is. People have the I wish and I want list all day long. This is about, I've dealt with this, I know I don't want it. So he's going to say, I want a girl who is more secure because it felt like she was insecure. Hers might say, I want somebody who's extremely communicative to me. You define what it is, but it's based off your own past experiences, not this I wish, I want, what makes sense. You've been collecting data. You've been talking to people, put it down on the list. Yeah. And then you write it. I always tell people you're writing it in pencil, not in pen. You're putting it on your phone because once you see it, you cannot see it. And now you have easy access to it.
Amen. I'm questioning, like, what would you say your number one quality that you look for when you're dating?
I got my top three. If you want to go there,
I want to know one because it's harder to name the one versus three. But I want to know one and why because I can tell you why kindness is for me.
Let me see the three because I'm gonna do the three out and then I'm gonna have to. Then I can go to the one. So I need you to be intentional. I need you to be self-aware, and I need you to be ambitious. I'm gonna start with intentional. Actually, intentional. To your point, intentional is going to be the very best one for me. And it's one I think about because one, that's who I am. And I want to have that partner where we're both being intentional. Intentional covers so many areas. If you like me, if you think I'm attractive, you're going to let me know because that's you being intentional. I will do the same. If you like me and you're going to be intentional in communicating with me because I have gone on some dates, been seeing somebody. And when I tell you the intention is absolutely there in terms of the day, it started off with a certain type of message indicating just wanting to bring happiness and joy and say, this is what my day looks like because that informs how I'm going to communicate. Like, that shit is fucking unreal to me. That's intentional. It's not just because I get this shit all the time. You cute, you and those thick thighs because people watch and they see me over here in these khakis and doing all of this. But what is that doing for me in terms of if you really want more, then you're going to do more than just give me some sideways comments. I will like and heart and do all of that, of course. But I'm not going to take you seriously. Like, that's not intentional. Intentional is like I show up, I communicate because that's who I am in every aspect of my life, especially dating.
Yeah, I feel that. I like that intentional is yours. I think that it's definitely like one of my top 3. But like kindness for me is, child, the girls can be vicious, right?
Can be?
We are vicious. We are vicious with our words because that's what we had to use a lot. And we could tear a bitch up. We could tear you limb from limb with our mouths in more ways.
Some of us more than others.
Oof. A good lashing, bitch. And as a girl who can read, like I can shred you with words, and I choose not to, like, because I don't like that. But kindness, I think speaks to me because there has been moments where you can be frustrated and you can be angry, but kindness always steps in with respect. Kindness always steps in like, okay, I know I can go in on my person right now, but this is my person. And I may be upset and I want to be able to like show kindness. Kindness also is like, to me, like my partner also, like just stuff that I don't think to do, he does. So like, it's important, like kindness shows up in that kind of way.
I can connect that dot somewhat back to intentional because kindness takes being mindful, right? Mindful is a concept we all talk about, especially in our therapeutic work with clients and treatment. It's about being in the moment. And to be kind is to be in the moment. It's to be intentional. You can't just keep going on with your day. Like, that's what it takes. If you're somebody who's just like, let me just keep going, keep working, keep moving, and I'm gonna fit you in, I'm gonna maybe talk to you here, kind of there. It's like, you can't show kindness because you're not even in the moment, boo. Kindness comes from being so in the moment and showing up for people. Like, come on. That is how we live. And I go back to intentional because it takes you being in that moment. It takes you caring about this person. It takes seeing them. And you can't do that when they're just constantly like on the move. Everybody else around you becomes a blur.
That being seen, what you just said, yeah. Like, to be seen is to be loved.
Ooh, Lord, in our community, honestly, that's all we really want. Like, so many of us.
But we so hard. We're like.
I put in the work so I don't have to be.
Yeah, same.
I see my therapist every single week because I refuse to let how I was treated dictate how I'm going to move. Oh, child. Woo. I am not going to let how I was treated like dictate how I move in the world as an adult. It has affected me for so many years, and I finally have gotten to a point where I can start talking about it more. And I'm like, I am not going to let this dictate how I move in relationships, how I move in friendships, how I deal with family members. I'm not. It's done its time with me.
Yeah, I feel you. I was going to cry.
Oh Lord, no!
I was trying not to get there. I was trying not to get.
I know. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is a lot.
I think Martin Luther King said, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that.
Oh, friend.
And I just remember, I've had experiences where the girls were not the nicest, but I just said that's not going to be the story that I write. Oh God! Like
I know.
This was not expected. Like I was like,
I know, but you and I have talked about this before, and I hate that for you because you're just such a beautiful human being. Oh my gosh, you're such a beautiful human being in and out, and I love you. And I've never wanted you since day one to ever feel like that. Like I have always wanted to make sure that, you felt safe. Cause that's always that's my job. Like that's, and I don't say that even lightheartedly, like wherever I am, like there is a safe space because I know what it's like to feel so unsafe.
Yeah. And I know.
Like we know what it's like to feel unsafe, and I want everybody who's in my aura and in my space to know that this is always going to be safe. There's no judgment. I love you. No. You are just going to be so supported.
Thank you, friend. I love you too. Like I'm trying to hold it together, but it's hard.
We're human though, right? Yeah, we're human. We are human.
I'm just grateful for it. And you know what's, I met you, of course, before I met my partner. Ooh, okay, I'm good. And I said, if my friends can treat me like this has to be the minimum that my partner brings in. Like if my friends create a safe space, if my friends are nice and kind to me, if my friends see me fall apart and still show up for me, My partner has to. And so, like, yeah. When I think about the viciousness, like, I think a lot of girls, in all honesty, like, bringing it back to this, I think a lot of girls are hurt.
They are.
I think a lot of girls are hurt and a lot of girls are angry. And it's very much so the mentality, let me get you either before you get me, or let me get you because that was what was done to me. And I always have to tell people, you can rewrite that story. You can be like, when I go into the clubs and the bars, you know, I'm anxious. I'm an anxious person. Like, you know, I usually stay to myself a lot because I'm anxious, not because I'm a bitch. But when I go into clubs now, like, I used to just look forward or had like a unit on my face. Or a unit. That's old school. I would always look angry, you know, because I didn't want to be approached. But I started smiling at people. Like, and most times people smile back. Like, most times people smile back. Like, and it's not even, like, a lot of times people are shocked that I smile. But, like, sometimes it's very rare that person will, like, roll their eyes. But, you know, I don't care about those. But, like, I've started smiling at people. And, again, like, I don't feel like darkness can drive out darkness. You have to be that light. Like, we can tell people to be kind. We can tell people to, you know, do all that other stuff. But you have to lead by example a lot of times. So I feel like in order to invite light in, I have to be light.
I totally agree. It just really gets difficult because, honestly, I see these situations, and I also walk in these spaces, which I've been in with you before. People think I'm so social, and I totally get that in terms of how I approach things. And I could have not been that way just given the torment that I felt like I experienced. But another part of me is also just like, I hurt for you. Like, I know what my clients go through, and I know what these men go through. And a lot of it I experienced is like, you were just so hurt and you don't want to acknowledge it.
I want to hug so many of my clients. Like, I want to hug them because, like, I feel like a lot of them haven't been hugged.
Like, you were loved and supported. There's a whole community out here. Like, there are people who are not catty. Like people are so convinced that this is our community, and I'm like, look at that, like, right? Like, it's not. It's who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, that's not what it is. And I feel like because I give out light, I met you. I met some great people, you know what I'm saying? Like, and when you give out light, it really does multiply. Like, we met as just friends. We met at, like, we first started the sex education with Safe Space Nova, and that was it. And, like, now, years later, we've, like, collaborated in a lot of projects, and, like, now we have the Queer and Kinky Couch. Like, there is beauty in showing light and making friends. And also, there was never anything sexual between us. There's never been any desire or anything of that nature. Like, we've been friends from day one. And so you can still also have that. You don't have to hook up with your friends either, or start off with hookups. Like, you can find genuine friendship in our community. You just got to be that light.
And also, just, if you know that this person in this situation is unhealthy for you, just like in a relationship, you don't have to engage. You can let it go and say, like, I'm good. Like, I know you can. Like, I want... Because so many clients also struggle with being alone. And, like, look, I would rather be alone on the island than have all these these people around me, a higher quantity of people, just so I can just be in a crowd. It's like, no, but there's no quality there. And what do you think that does to you in the meantime?
One of the hardest things I heard from one of my clients when I first started my practice, my client had friends around them that were just not good people. Like, I wanted to fight their friends, and I'm not a fighter. And the client, like, the friends were doing, like, conniving, like, just nasty stuff. And I said, you don't deserve to be around people like that. You need to, you know, find people who match who you are now, because they had gone off to college and done this stuff. And, like, the friends didn't do those things. Not saying that separated them, but it created a divide, or it reflected in the friendship. And they said, if I stop hanging out with them, then I won't be with nobody. I said, that's better than being with these friends. Like, you'll find friends that'll, you know, fit you. But you ain't got to be friends with these girls who are catty, who are, you know, who really don't even like each other, who just are friends because of circumstance, or because of proximity. You don't have to be that. Like, I try to avoid catty. Like, the moment I see catty or mess or anything of that nature, like, my antenna goes up. Like, I just can't, because, like, the girls be mean. And I also feel like no read, no shade, no pink lemonade. I feel like when you're a cute girl, like, the girls really be after you then, bitch. Like, you always get, like...
But hold up, okay. I'm going to do something that's, Lord, a bit out of my comfort zone, but I'm going to ask you pointed questions about...
Nigga, you crying on camera. You are in your comfort zone now.
But you've known me now, like, what? It's been 5+ years. So in terms of the cattiness, because you've been around people, I've been around, like, in terms of me, in terms of what I surround myself with, because people think of this as such an impossibility. Have you seen any cattiness around
No,
me?
I love your friend group. Like every time I'm around them, they like I've even made friends with a couple of them, and it's always just a positivity. You know, when we had our Christmas ugly sweater party, a few of my clients came and they told me they were like. I was ready for, either a look or something of that nature, but they were like, everybody was so nice. And I was like, it exists. Like it does exist. You like I think that you're light and you find light. And so people, of course, find you and they join your light. Scott needs light. You know what I mean? Like when I think of the people I've met through you, I don't think I've met. There was one girl we talked about in the car. But you know what I'm saying? She was on the side. Like she was not, we ain't up. But every person I say I've met through you has been like fun, genuine, just cool people. Like genuine, cool people. Now it's like I see them out all the time too. Like it made me like, oh wow, like there are kind and nice people. I just feel like, we need to find each other.
It takes a little bit more work and effort. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. It actually takes strength to be able to say, like, I'd rather have two people in my life versus have, like, that I can trust or I can feel vulnerable around than 15 or 20 that I cannot trust, right? To be lost in a crowd and these people and have some sense of safety associated with that when it's unsafe for you. So that's really important.
But it's like, why do you need that? You know what I'm saying? You also have to ask yourself, why do I need 20 people? Because, as a 40-year-old woman,
while some of us are 41, but fine.
As a 40-year-old person, I've learned that it's not about the quantity of friends. It's about the quality, like your people.
But they're still waiting. Friend, they're still waiting to be chosen. That's part of the problem. This comes back to this, baby. Like, I know. And we do this work all the time. I do it with my clients. You and I talk about this. But there are so many who are still waiting to be chosen. And that puts them in this framework to say, I don't want to be alone. I haven't found a man or a partner yet or somebody who's chosen me. So I'm going to deal with this group so I'm not by myself as I'm waiting to identify who that person is.
No, you got to choose you. You got to love you. Because like if I get in a relationship with somebody or I start dating someone, even as friends, I can tell if you don't like yourself. I can tell if you're uncomfortable with yourself. And how do you expect people to choose you when you don't choose you?
I'm always encouraging, like, we got to make sure that we're doing the work. And again, I go back to our community is not to say, like, we're a double minority, right? And we're going to add to that, you were first generation. So there's just so much that comes with that. There's so much trauma that's kind of baked into even our genetics that we have to acknowledge. So there's a lot of work that has to be done so we can properly love ourselves and choose us.
The first thing I always tell people, and don't get scared of, is when you start to choose you, sometimes the people around you shift. Sometimes the people around you shift, and that's okay because they probably were around you for the version that you once were. But when you start to choose you and love on you and excel, like the people around you shift, but again, they enrich in quality. Like you're going to have people, like my friends don't only support my businesses, they show up, they buy stuff, they repost. You know what I mean? Like that's the quality of friendships that I have. Like my friend, she got married. I was in her wedding. She has a daughter and a son. Those are my nieces, my nephews. Like they call me Uncle Jerry. Like the quality like goes up. You like when you choose you, when you love on you, when you also see like why you're special. Like I often one of the first things I ask my clients is, what do you like about you? And most of the time it's always, I'm ambitious, girl.
Something I just want to share that when I see such beautiful people full of light like yourself, my support in my mind, weirdly enough, like I don't generally have enough going on because we know I do, but I'm just like, how can I always be a help and assistant? One is I want to make sure that you know that I'm a safe place and that I'm supportive, but also like I love and cherish my friends for their individual paths in life and anything I can always do, right? You and I met and it was, okay, Jerry just seems great at this type of work and want to do sex education. So it was like, here's an opportunity and more because it's like, I can't help but like love on you in all these different ways and forms. And I think about how great you are at this and how much you want to conquer this. And I'm right here by your side doing what I can.
Friend, I love you so much for that because like you really shine. Like I struggle with a lot of times like reflecting and you do a good job at like reflecting like me. But I feel the same way about you. Like I feel like I want to be there. Like in my mind, I've already prepared my best man speech. I have. And in my mind, I've already pictured you saying your best man speech at mine. So, like, I don't think I've ever imagined that with a person. I don't think I've ever, like, imagined, what that would look like. And it's because of the friendship that we built. I've always imagined what a wedding would look like. This is when I just wanted to get married just to get married. But I never thought about the people, like who would be by my side. And until I found my people.
You found your tribe.
So y'all girlies can find that too. We're not going to stick on this because the bitch not going to cry. It's back to G shit at this point.
We have really oh my God.
It's back to G shit.